Episode 3 of the Chaotix Casefiles. Welcome back to my reaction/analysis of these episodes. Last we left off, we were teased that they were going to talk to Tangle and Whisper, IDW characters that we have never seen in the games before, who have never had a voice before, and characters that I personally have no attachment/knowledge of. I don't really know anything about them, despite I own the comics because I was doing a marathon where I was reading all the comics in hopes to eventually get to IDW and understand these characters a lot more, especially considering that they are canon to the series, they are canon to the games as well, but we've never seen them in the games. They've never made an appearance in any of the games, despite the fact that they've been around for years now. And I mentioned that I think that they're setting up for their inclusion in future games with how many appearances they've been making lately. Specifically Tangle and Whisper. They've made appearances in Crossworlds, Tangle was mentioned in Frontiers, now they're in the audio drama. Characters that have never had a voice before are in an audio drama. And I think that they're sprinkling these things so that we get used to these characters, and so it's a bit more palatable for when they are in a mainline game. It's just going to be weird to not have the context of who they are or what their relations to these characters is in the comics when we've never seen it in-game. But this is my first time learning anything about them, so we'll see what I think, but I'm sure I'll love them. Despite the fact that I have no attachment to them, I am very intrigued by them. I think that I've been so exposed to them throughout the years that I'm like, you know what? I want to know more about them. I think their designs are really cool. They fit the universe really well. I want to know more about them. I just have not had a chance to read the comics, and if they're going to be in the games, if they're going to be canon, I want them to be handled well, right? Like, I don't want it to just be like, hey, we've been here the whole time. It's like, okay, ease us into these characters, which I think, again, they're trying to do, just not through games. And I mean, Crossworld's kind of, but it's like they're DLC, so they weren't there from the beginning, and I don't know. So anyway, episode 3. The Case of the Malicious Museum Misdirection.
When the chaotics are on the case.
You know, Dr. Eggman, this story would sound a whole lot better if you'd let us out of our cages. These bars are doing awful
nice
things
try.
to the acoustics. There's still the whole matter of rouge to deal with.
Sure.
Also, why is Gunn so concerned about all this in the first place?
Good question.
Not a bad question.
A good one, in fact.
Fortuitously for me, Jewel, this establishment's curator, is currently busy on another project.
Oh, the Beetle.
So I've stepped in.
But forgive me, you're going to set up a perimeter with just the 3 of you?
Nope! It'll be the 5 of us!
Whoa!
How's it going, guys? Thanks for calling! We're always happy to help, especially when something's going down here in our own backyard. Isn't that right, Whisper? Sure.
Ah, that's exactly what I thought she would sound like.
We fought alongside Tangle and Whisper more than once. And
oh, really?
Tangle had a
I say! Unhand me, untail me at once! I will not be hoisted by a prehensile primate! Well, I suppose that will do as far as Miss Tangle goes.
What about you, Miss
But you,
Whisper?
Miss Whisper? Dare I ask what your speciality?
Shoot! She shoot.
I suppose I should get out of your way now, lest I be accidentally grabbed or
Shot.
disintegrated.
Better yet, we don't want the thief impersonating and incriminating you.
Right! I'll be in my orbit.
Okay.
It's a weird thing to say.
Whisper.
I've got some walkie-talkies back in the Chaotix copter.
You do? Since when?
Since we went to that yard sale last weekend, I thought they might come in handy, and now they will!
Good job, Charmy.
Plus, you know what this means?
That we'll all have walkie-talkies?
That this could be my job! The thing I do for the team.
Communications.
I can be the Chaotix quartermaster. Whenever we need gear, or equipment, or whatever, I can be the guy who wrangles it all.
Well,
I like it.
walkie-talkies would come in handy.
I like it.
Yeah, I'll be right back. Ah, see what I did there? Because he said be. I guess not all of you know this, but Whisper used to be part of a resistance group called the Diamond Cutters. One of their members as a shapeshifter.
Hmm.
Oh, that lousy mimic betrayed the team.
One for Vector, and one for Espio, and one for Tangle, and one for Whisper, and one for me, the Chaotix Quartermaster.
Okay.
Damn, you
I'll
got
have Mr. Kitch lock the windows
5
in both the other
walkie-talkies?
doors. Let's
Why would you think you needed 5?
I kept Charlie with me, just in case he got too excited. Couldn't have him blowing our cover.
But you know he will. You know he will.
All quiet on level 2.
Roger that. Charm me out. Vector, this is so cool!
Shh! Shut
What
up!
did we just talk about?
Hey, how'd you get in? Did we miss something?
Got in right over here.
Oh, ow! Punched me! Wait, Tails
Punch it?
me?
Just in time. I'm locked on target.
Wait!
Standing right there in front of us were 2 Tangles. No
But
more
which
than
one do I
6 feet
shoot?
apart. I knew exactly what was going to happen, because I saw Espio sneaking up behind the 2 of them. He'd take the one on the left, I'd take the one on the right, and quick as you could say hard-boiled, we'd have the imposter in custody. Except that's not what happened.
Right.
Whisper? Were you really going to shoot them both? The real Tangle would trust me to make the right call. Oh.
Oh no. Guys, look.
Oh, man.
There was no sign of the imposter anymore. Just like there was no sign of the lens anymore.
I was gonna
either.
say, they probably took it.
What happened to you, Espio?
You mean right before I was about to get zapped by a certain wolf sniper?
Hey, alright,
You weren't
hey.
in danger. The Wisp knew you weren't the target.
Noted.
Is she just being her normal cool jewel thief self? 'Cause, you know, it's a lens, not a jewel. Or is she doing some kind of spy stuff, like working for Gunn again?
Those
That's what I
are
said.
really
What's all this? Where is my artifact?
Where indeed,
Kitch.
Kitch?
I thought...
I tried to warn everyone, but well, my walkie-talkie sort of died.
What? No, it couldn't have. Here, watch. Charmity Tangle. Charmity Tangle, over. Oh no, I didn't check the batteries.
It's okay.
And now the lens is gone, and Espio almost got lasered. Never in danger.
Which leaves us with nothing.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say nothing.
We
All of you, freeze!
Gone?
But why was Gunn there anyway? What did they want? How did they even know what was going on?
I have to hand it to
Rouge.
you, man.
I'll tell you about the unified uniform usurpation.
We have got to work on your titles.
How about Assault on Gun Base X?
Ooh,
That's pretty good.
Better.
Damn, I don't know that I really stopped at any point to mention anything. Like, there were times I was reacting to what was being said, but there was very little time for me to, like, really go on a tangent with this episode. Very, very solid. Again, in my mind, I'm just thinking, like, man, this would be such a cool game where, like, each chapter is, like, an episode, right? Where, like, it's denoted by flashbacks and forths and, like, cutscenes where Sonic and Vector and Eggman are, like, there. An episode ends and you get, like, a results screen, like, oh, how did you do this chapter? Stuff like that. And going on missions with Tangle, with Whisper. I figured, just based on her design, that Whisper was the kind of character presented here. I don't know much about her. Obviously, again, I don't know really anything about her backstory, but they do try to hint at things in this episode as well, right? They mentioned the Diamond Cutters and how one of them is a shapeshifter, like one of her old team members is a shapeshifter. Don't know how relevant that is to the comics, if this is a character that we know already or not. But the way that they sort of drop these little bits and pieces of their character, I think is very well done. And that's kind of how I would like for them to be handled, right? Like, it is unfortunate because that is a lot to take in, right? If things like that end up being relevant. They're not very relevant here, right? They give us enough information to know who these characters are and what their relationship to each other is, the fact that they're friends to these other characters. And so their backstory and the things that they've been involved in are things that aren't super important to this story. And so from that vantage point, I do understand, and it's a little bit more palatable in that sense. And they definitely present their personalities very, very well. I always assumed that Tangle was a much more like serious, kind of like angry character. I don't know, she always gave that vibe off to me. But no, she's very goofy, she's very playful, she's very energetic. I like her character a lot. I like their designs a lot. I think that I mentioned this before, but I think they're very well designed characters. Having this moment of like, oh, who do I shoot? Again, it's something that makes a lot of sense, especially between these two characters. The whole like, oh, you would have trusted me to do the right thing. Like, of course, you would have encouraged me to take the shot instead of like being afraid that I was going to. And again, just the vocal performances are so good. Like when the mimic Tails showed up, like you could tell that Colleen did this sort of like not going up as much as Tails would go up. So it sounds like Tails, but it's off kind of, and like it's just so well done, right? Because it's so easy when you've done a character for so long, it's so easy to just think of performing as that character. But when you have to perform as that character as another character, right? Like it's not Tails, but someone doing an impression of Tails, right? Because even Tails doing an impression of someone, that's hard too. But then think about it like, this is someone who is doing an impression of your character. How do you voice someone that you voice? Like, how do you voice a character doing an impression of someone you voice, right? Like, that's very tough. But the voice actors for Tangle and Whisper did a phenomenal job. They're very suitable to the characters. They sound fantastic, like as again, actors, not just like in their, because I always like to say this, that in voice acting there's two components to it. There's the voice and there's the acting, right? Like you can sound good for a character, but if your acting is off, it doesn't really matter too much. You could also be a fantastic actor, but the voice may not be right? Like the voice just doesn't fit despite how good of an actor you are. And I think that Tangle and Whisper are two characters in this audio drama that they nailed really well. Like Whisper sounds exactly what I imagined just based on her design, she sounds exactly like what I would imagine her to sound. And Tangle, again, my thought on what her personality was wrong, and so like the voice, but for her character, the voice is perfect. It's excellent. I don't know if they're going to be in future episodes. It sounds like maybe they are. I don't know if the idea is that Gunn shows up and like puts them all in jail or what. I don't know if they're going to if they are, that's welcome. If not, then it was nice to be introduced to them in this way. But yeah, like there's not a whole lot more I can add in terms of what I think about this episode. Again, beyond saying just that I think it's very well done. The whole thing with Rouge, right? Part of me thinks that it is Rouge, that was the actual Rouge, just based on her saying something to Espio. And also, why would the Mimic save Espio in that moment, right? But that does raise the question. It's like, okay, well, Rouge is here. Rouge obviously has to be working with Gunn. I feel like she has to be working with Gunn in this series. Because it's what makes most sense, right? If they weren't at the Spiral Hill Museum yet, and then they just happened to show up right as Rouge left, it kind of makes sense that she's working with them in this story. I still don't know much about who this Mimic could be, or like, yeah, I mean, I think more so Rouge's involvement in the whole thing as it pertains to the Mimic, right? Because again, she is trying to sort of misdirect the Chaotix as well. So she sees them as sort of being in the way, but also being useful to the case. It's an interesting thing because she guided them here, right? But at the same time, misdirected them earlier. So it's weird. I'm very suspicious of this Mr. Kitsch. He wasn't there when the Mimic showed up, and then he happens to come out just as the Mimic leaves, and then he happens to be here at this, like, why was he relocated to this museum after the Station Square one? I kind of understand, but I also kind of don't, right? Like, it is a little strange. So, I don't know, maybe all of this will be answered in episode 4. I actually really can't wait to listen to it. I'm super into this. Like, I am loving that. As someone who loves stories and obviously loves Sonic, but like this is just experiencing an audiobook, right? It's an audio drama, and it's just, I'm so entrenched in the story, in the performances and everything. I think this so far, this is incredibly well done, and I'm very glad that we have something like this. But thank you so much for watching. Until next time, stay safe, stay awesome. I'll see you guys for episode 4. This is Charai5, signing off.